Hello everyone. Oh my goodness. It's so good to be back again. It's so good to be recording another podcast. I swear. I feel like this is home. So welcome home. Welcome. Welcome to another episode of Olivia Sose Reads. Right, welcome. And today we're going to be reviewing the book The Nigerwife by Vanessa Walters. Now, this book used to be called The Nigerwife, but I think due to marketing and stuff like that, they decided to go ahead and call it The Nigerwife. I'm going to get into that, the title later, but let us just, get into the blog of the book so that we can just get into it, because this book, the thing about my reviews is I see it as gisting with you all. I don't see it as like, oh, I'm reviewing a book. I see it as, oh, I'm giving you the tea so that you go pick up that book. So I'm not going to bore you with the details. I'm just going to tell you the tea so that you could read this book. Now, let's get straight into it. Welcome back. First of all, let me say this before we get into the business of the day. Thank you so much for listening to my podcast. I cannot thank you guys enough. I know I do say that even if nobody listens to me, I'm going to still do this. But it's so much more rewarding. It feels so much more rewarding that someone is actually listening to me. Not just someone, people actually listening to me, giving me feedback, telling me, oh, I saw this, like, how is this, like, discussing my reviews with me, discussing my podcast with me. I'm seeing the streams on my notification. So thank you all so much. If you're listening from Apple Podcasts, if you're listening from Spotify, if you're listening from any other streaming platform, YouTube, thank you. I cannot thank you enough for subscribing. So thank you. God bless you. I hope that I continuously put out content that you love. So let's get straight into it. Nicole Uruwari has the perfect handsome husband. Okay, so I'm reading this from Goodreads, and no. Nicole Uruwari has the perfect life. A handsome husband, a palatial house in the house of Lagos, and a glamorous group of friends. She left gloomy London and a troubled family past behind for sunny Lagos, becoming part of the Nigerwives, a community of foreign women married to Nigerian men. But when Nicole disappears without a trace after a boat trip, the cracks in her alleged perfect life start to show. As the investigation turns up nothing but dead ends, her aunt, Claudine, decides to take matters into her own hands. Armed with only a cell phone and a plane ticket to Nigeria, she digs into her niece's life and uncovers a hidden side filled with dark secrets, isolation, and even violence. But the more she discovers about Nicole, the more Claudine's own buried history threatens to come to light. Whew. I don't know what to say. Do you know what to say? Okay. Anyway, so why did I pick up this book? This book was recommended by Book of Sins. She's on Instagram and also on Twitter. She has this Book of the Month feature that she does mail. She sent you a mail if you subscribe. So this was one of the books that she said she read in the month of October that really she liked. So I saw it, and I went to Google it, and I saw the Lagos Wife, and I was like, okay, let me read this, the Lagos Wife, what's going on. And I think the thing that really interested me, to be honest, is the fact that the names. Now, Oluwari is an Ijaw name. It's a Kalabari name. If we're being either Kalabari or Bayelsa, anyone can answer it. Yeah. So, but it's an Ijaw name, and I'm an Ijaw woman. Did you not know? I'm an Ijaw woman. So when I saw characters that were like from Ijaw, I was like, I'm gonna get into it. And her husband, Toyin, if you're not aware, Nicole's husband his name is Toyin. And Toyin, that's my dad's name. Exactly. So I was like, okay, what are we doing? We have to read this book. We have to read this book. So that's what attracted me to the book. See, presentation matters. Representation matters. Yes, let's get into it. So that's what made me, decide to pick this book. And I was intrigued. I wanted to see what happened to Nicole's perfect life. And Nicole is missing. Like, Nicole has disappeared without a trace. What the hell is going on? Let's get into the book. We meet Nicole. She's, Jamaican. She's British Jamaican. And she's married to a Nigerian wealthy man. A really, really wealthy Nigerian man. And she's living the dream. Like, I absolutely understand why this book is going to be made into a movie or a series, because when you read it, it's like things from wealthy, crazy rich Asians. That kind of, you're gonna see those kind of houses from crazy rich Asians. You're gonna see those kind of weddings, but the Niger style, Owambe. The way we do our parties in Nigeria, like when it comes to weddings, especially weddings and burials, they play like it's always glamorous. So from the description, we're talking about the creme de la creme of Lagos. So I cannot wait for this to be turned into a series. But I'm going to keep my expectations on the floor, because we have seen that whenever a book is turned into a movie or a series, whenever a book is adapted like that, they don't meet expectations. Because in my head, I'm imagining, but when I see it, is it gonna meet the expectations of my imagination? Is it? So anyways, we meet the Oluwaris, wealthy, super wealthy people. Their father owns Chief, that's the dad, the patriarch of the family. He owns a lot of businesses. And then we meet his son Toyin, who's also in the family business. Nicole, of course, is the perfect first son's wife. Only son's wife. So we meet we meet the Nigerwives. The Nigerwives, like Elliot mentioned, is an association of foreign women married to Nigerian men. So we meet that group also. Then we meet other wealthy people of Lagos. We meet Johanna, and we super wealthy. When it comes to wealthy people, there is wealth and there is wealth. There is always, when Charlie Poppy say another Evian day inside that your Evian say. Abi, how did they sing that song? I don't know the lyrics, but yeah. So inside the wealthy, there is the wealthy. So we get to meet Johanna, and just wealthy Nigerians. That's who we're getting to meet here. So Nicole, this book really opens up with infidelity. I'm telling you straight up, we see that Toyin is cheating, which I would say that I expected. He's an Ijo man. Toyin is an Ijo man. They cheat. Oh my goodness. I'm going to tell you, I know they say all men cheat. And Yoruba men have such a bad rep. Like, you hear Yoruba men, like, Yoruba demons. Ijo demons. Oh my goodness. Ijo demons. Ewo. Ijo men. It's not something you can describe in a book. Oh. I'm telling you, if you experience an Ijo man's infidelity, and they don't hide it. It's not as if they are trying to hide it. No, my dear. I wish the author really, tilted towards that side for Toyin. Because Ijo men, they don't hide their infidelity. They don't hide that they have other kids somewhere. You're going to know, and what will you do about it, my dear? What are you? You're not going to. You will accept it. You will live with it, especially a wealthy Ijo man. What are you talking about? He's gonna cheat. So this book, we see Nicole's husband, Toyin. She finds some hog ties in his suitcase and a hotel receipt, and she's questioning him, and he's like, "You need to rest." That part was so funny to me, because this is really how men behave. Somebody is asking you, why are these items in your suitcase? And you're talking about she needs to rest, she's tired. How does that correlate with what? How does that correlate to the subject matter? I swear to God, if a man doesn't make it seem like you're mad for discovering his infidelity, have you? I was also like, maybe Nicole, you need to rest. Maybe you're seeing things. So we meet Nicole, who is 100% dependent on her husband's finance, on her husband's goodwill. She's a proper, sit-at-home wife. When we say sit-at-home wife. And I think this book is very timely when it comes to that conversation, because you see this conversation, it keeps happening, it keeps coming up again on social media. These conversations of being a sit-at-home wife. Oh, you can be a sit-at-home wife if your husband is wealthy. Be a trophy wife. If your eye never tell you, your mouth no go fit talk am. There are some things that you pray not to experience yourself. You think it's to be Oga wife, Odogu wife. Inside that Odogu wife, something they happen. No. If you're listening to me and your greatest desire, your greatest ambition is to be a stay-at-home wife, a traditional wife, you take care of the home front while the man takes care of, brings in the money. I want to be a traditional wife. That's why I like Nigerian men. They take care of their wives, Nigerian well-being, and they pity you. Let me just tell you, no matter how wealthy a man is, no matter how generous a man is, you cannot live on the generosity of a man. It is very important that no matter how wealthy your husband is, you have your own. Because at the end of the day, the money is not yours, baby girl. That money belongs to the Oruwaris. Nicole got to find out. She found out, that it's not my money, it is the Oruwaris. And so after meeting the Nigerwives, we also get to meet Nicole's friend, Kemi, who is a very important character in this book, and how Kemi, got her to be out more. Kemi, Kemi was a voice of reasoning at some point in the book. She talked to Nicole, got Nicole to start pursuing other ventures, like get a job at a gallery. We get to see that also. And we also get to see Kemi's friends that she introduced Nicole to. Yeah, we get to see that, and we all just get to see how all these things come together. And we also get to see how Claudine, anti-Claudine. Now, this is also a very, 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 very important part of the book, the plot, because the way the book is written in two POVs. We have Nicole's POV, who is describing the past. Nicole gives us insight into the things that have happened to her in Lagos, the past. Then we have Aunt Claudine, who gives us the present and the things that have happened before Nicole moved to Lagos. So we get to see Nicole's family history, because Nicole really did not divulge anything about her family. And this is something that Tony always mentioned, that Nicole does not like to talk about her past. She does not like to talk about her history. And we get to see why. And we know that there is a tension between Nicole and her family. It's just something that we always see in the book, but we never got to understand until the later part of the book. That's when we then understand why there was so much tension between Nicole and her family. Why she, it seemed like she just forgot about the fact that she had family. It's like she pushed them away. Like she tried to just move on from them because there was no communication between them again. It was a lot. And I don't want to give spoilers, but I really want you to read this book yourself. Now let's get into the characters. We meet the Orowaris, a very patriarchal. The Orowaris, you're seeing the patriarchal structure of a wealthy family. Chief is a billionaire, he's a wealthy man, and we get to meet his wife. And I think one thing that made me really curious about this book is they never told us mother-in-law name. Never. Everybody either called her chief's wife or mother-in-law. I don't know if that was a deliberate thing that the author wanted us to see. She was just mother-in-law or chief's wife. She did not have a name. Why? Please, Vanessa, can you explain to us why? Why? Her name was never mentioned. So we get to see mother-in-law, we get to meet Abby, we get to meet Tamara, of course, Tony and Nicole. Abby is another very interesting character. Very interesting character you get to meet. Then we also get to meet Aunt Claudine and Penny. The character of Aunt Claudine and Penny. Very also important. Aunt Claudine was practically Nicole's mom. She took care of Nicole like she would take care of her child. So when Tony called them to say, oh, Nicole is missing, Aunt Claudine said, oh no, I'm going to come to Nigeria and find answers. What do you mean by she's missing? She went on a boat trip, she disappeared, which was so lovely. She came to Nigeria to look for her niece. So we get to see that. We also get to meet Mommy, which is Aunt Claudine's mother, Nicole's grandmother. Then we also get to meet Kemi, Elias, Johanna, that group. We get to meet them also. We also get to meet the Nigerwives, Imani especially. I think out of all the Nigerwives, the Nigerwives that really stood out for me was Imani. Imani gave Nicole a very profound advice that I also 100% agree with. You cannot rely on the benevolence of a man, no matter how wealthy he is, no matter how generous he is. Oh, my Odu always gives me whatever I want. Whenever I ask for, he gives me. For how long? See, I keep on saying this thing, and it seems like women don't listen. Why don't we listen? Yes, you're married to a wealthy man, but you're not wealthy. Don't you get it? Don't you understand that wealth is not sexually transmitted? Neither is it transmitted by marriage. A lot of this world, they have lawyers, especially if you do not sign, a prenup. It's even worse when you sign a prenup. But they have lawyers that will ensure that marriage does not take away their wealth. They have lawyers for that. So you also have to be thinking about your own. Being a stay-at-home wife is such a dangerous trend. Let's not bring it back. I know we're looking at Nara Smith and the other popular TikTok lady, but these people do have streams of income though. Their TikTok channel, their social media. Nara is a model. So please, don't just be a wife that's even down to Maggie. If your husband doesn't, if there's no budget for that, you can't get it. If there's no budget for Ashwebi, there's no budget for Kluti, you can't get it. And the funny thing, Nicole is a lawyer. She's trained. She is a lawyer. But she dropped all of that and came to be a stay-at-home wife for Toyin. That's crazy. She didn't even use her foreigner's privilege to start a law practice in Nigeria. No. She was just content with being a stay-at-home wife. I mean, come on. Stop that. Your privilege as a wealthy woman even helps your career. You don't have to work as hard as other women who do not have that wealthy privilege. You don't have to, and that's the truth. You have staff taking care of everything. So why don't you just have a little brand, a little name for yourself other than Nicole Oluwari? Other than being a big man's wife, a senator's wife, a governor's wife. Why don't you have something else for yourself? If you're stripped of that title, what is underneath? Those are questions that you need to start asking yourself. Now let's get straight into the themes, right? Colorism. Whew. I mean, when we begin to unpack this book, especially Aunt Claudine's POV, the story of that their family, you see, colorism is oh my goodness. And I have seen this in a lot of Jamaican narratives, not just Jamaican. I think every African country that was colonized has a colorism problem. And I think that it is the trauma. It is part of the trauma of being colonized. Colorism played such a deep part in this book. We see how Mommy, who is Aunt Claudine's mother, we see how she treats her children, how she treats Penny and Claudine, then how she treats Jackie. Jackie is Nicole's mom because she's lighter skinned. We see how she treats her. When we tell people that colorism, people say, colorism, it exists so much. That's why you see people spending so much for glow kits. People spend so much on glow kits, natural fairness, even tone. No matter how they package it, it makes you lighter. People spend so much on it because of colorism. We see how that plays a role. How can you treat your children differently because they have different shade of blackness? When people say, nobody can love you like your mother, well, that's not the case in Claudine. That's not the case for Claudine. That's not the case for Aunt Claudine. Her mother, she did not have that unconditional love from her mom. She didn't. The love was, Claudine had to constantly give herself away to feel like she deserved love. She worked hard. She was still taking care of Mommy, even in her old age. She was still taking care of that woman. Even in her old age, she devoted her life to family. It's like she was trying to make up for something. It was like she was trying to make up something. So that trauma in that family, I think that is Nicole was definitely running away from her past. She was definitely running away. She ran away to Lagos. Thinking, she could just forget it. But I think that sometimes you have to face things. It's not every time that you put things in a suitcase and you lock it and throw it away into the lap. No. Sometimes you have to face things. Then, parental expectation. This is another theme that we see in this book. And we don't just see it from, Johanna. We see it in Toye. Also, you see the pressure on Johanna. That's what I'm telling you. If you are waiting to marry a rich man, except you want to be a third wife, the second wife, maybe mistress, or marry. Are you not seeing how they're treating what's her name? The lady who got married into the royal family. Yeah. Don't you see how they treat Harry's wife? Do you not see how they treat the people of Britain, how the British press treats her? Do you not see? Can't you see the difference between how they treat Prince Harry's wife and how they treat his brother's wife? Can't you see the difference? Can't you see the narrative that they're peddling? Goodness, this is not a Nigerian movie. I know Nigerian fairy tale is a young poor maiden to be picked up by the prince, and then you're taken into the palace and your life changes. That's a typical Nigerian fairy tale. Because if you look at the Cinderella story, Cinderella was also from the aristocratic family. Her dad was wealthy before he passed on. So that's a bit of a reality check. But for the typical Nigerian story, a poor woman or a poor girl, all these narratives are being peddled on YouTube, Nollywood. You see them everywhere. African magic. This is reality. There is no rich man. Rich people do not marry outside their class. My goodness. The reason why they could even tolerate Nicole, I'm gonna say it, is because she was an expatriate. She's a foreign wife. Because when we look at it, Nicole's family is nothing compared to the Yorubaris. They don't have as much money as the Yorubaris. No, they don't. And even then, even with her foreign privilege, her light skin privilege, grey eyes privilege, they were still telling her, rich us. If it were up to us, our son would marry someone that is, of the same timber and caliber, the same crafts. And that's reality. Look at Johanna. His father has forced him to marry one girl that is doing her masters. Somebody of his class. So classism in Lagos, in Nigeria. This book really shows that classism exists. If you think that, I'm just going to stay, I'm going to marry, please, you better go and get a job and pick up a career, pick up a hobby. You're likely to make it from your own efforts, and you will not jam any rich man anywhere. Oh goodness, that's when you think the rich, they just do what they like. No, that's when you begin to see that it is who has the purse that controls the family. It's who has the purse that controls the family. So it's not easy being rich. Poor people can marry anybody. They can marry the average. They can marry themselves. But for rich people, they will look at your background, money especially, the caliber that you're coming from. I had someone tell me one time plainly that he was not going to marry me because, I was just not his class. And I thank you for the honesty. He was a Yoruba man. See, I've seen things in this life. Hey God, I have seen things in this life. I told him plainly, matter of fact, that I'm so sorry, but you're not the kind of wife I'm looking for. I love you. I am attracted to you. I will do anything for you except marry you. Jesus is Lord. Oh, Olivia, you have suffered. I have suffered in this life. Oh, walai talai. And he told me plainly. He said his family, they already have a woman who is going to marry. You know, she's in London right now. She's wealthy. She's as wealthy as he is. You know, me, who I be? Who I be? Who I be? So I get it. I get it. And I told him, oh, thank you so much for telling me. It's not even like, well, thank you for telling me. If I don't know where I did before, now I know. But you know, thinking about it now, I can laugh about it. But back then, it was very insulting. It was. But you know, my prayer and why I work hard is so that nobody will tell my kids that one day that you're not my class. God, please. Jesus, please. Let nobody tell my children that, Lord. Okay. So we and then there's also, you know, the parental pressure, parental expectations, that team. Then we also see the patriarchal pressure. Oh my goodness. AB is a perfect example of the patriarchal pressure. I mean, she's a single woman living in Lagos. You would think that there's no pressure to marry, but as long as you're African, whether you are well-to, whether your father is, there's always that pressure to settle down. There's always, because people cho. Remember when if you've read the book, you would know when they went for the tailor. They went to the tailor who would, you know, sew their clothes. That woman is the perfect Nigerian society. Say, how old is this your child? You know how Nigerian aunties gossip? They would gossip with you as if they care about you, like they are concerned. But no, they're throwing jab at you. They are telling you, people are talking, oh, your daughter, she don't almost reach 30, she never married. She don't even pass 30, she never married. What are you saying? AB has that pressure on her. And there's also the fact that AB would like to do more for the family business. She would like to work more. But her father has given her a restaurant, and that's it. That's her settlement. Other than footing her bills, he's giving her a restaurant. And the mom was even telling her, don't you want to have a husband that will call you so that people can call you madam? She said, my staff already called me madam. Her mother told her, no, it's not that kind of madam. Madam as in married. So they start married. That privilege that is attached, that status that is attached to a married woman, no matter how bad rich. At least you don't marry. At least you don't husband house. Oh, and we can perfectly understand why AB is jealous of Tony. Because as parents, we have to try hard. I'm not a parent yet. But if you're listening to this and you're parents, you have to try hard to ensure that you're not setting up your siblings for your children for rivalry. You have to ensure that you're not setting up them for that. Try your best to ensure that you're not showing glaringly favoritism. I mean, it was so glaring here. Tony is the son, so he gets to have everything. The other siblings, they're just appendices, you know. You enjoy what you enjoy, but Tony is the heir. It was so obvious. And AB wanted me, but not in the society, I guess. She has her place. And then there's the pressure for even Nicole. Nicole has given them 2 boys. There's still the pressure of, you know, have a girl now. You can never please people. Patriarchy. You think that, okay, with boys, she's secured in her husband's house for a year. They say have a girl. 3 is a proper family. You know, let's make it 4. Let's just make it 4. And we see the other Nigerwives, their experiences. If you don't have a son, You have not secured your standing in your husband's house. You haven't secured it. I'm so sorry. It's patriarchal society we live in. So we also even see Kemi. Kemi is so desperate to get married. And I can understand why. She's a wealthy single woman in Lagos. The offer she will get will be from married men. But if she can get married, that marriage brings a security. It brings a security against our society. You see, security against the society, the pressures of society, the disrespect that comes with being a single woman. The disrespect that comes with being a single woman, especially in Nigeria. You I never see them. If you have not experienced it, you will not know. You think the other people saying it are mad. You think they're exaggerating. Walk in their shoes. Walk in their shoes. Then you would. Especially when you get to a certain age, you never still married. Chineke. You are instantly tagged and a shower. Instantly. Now we also have the theme of infidelity and betrayal. Oh my goodness. I'm telling you that this book shocked me at every turn. There were lots of twists and turns, and I was like, whoa. I don't want to give you spoilers. But betrayal. Oh my goodness. Betrayal, infidelity. I mean, Nicole also cheated on her husband with Elias. She had that relationship with Elias. She cheated also. Which to me, Ojuro cancel Ojuro. Ojuro cancel Ojuro. But you see how a wife cheating is treated as compared to a husband cheating. Tony cheated, the ground did not fall. Everybody looks the other way. Who told you people did not know he was cheating? But Nicole cheated, and instantly nobody cares where she went to. They say, oh, maybe she has run away with her husband, with her lover. And we see Elias, people think women are gold diggers. We see Elias, male gold digger. Yes. Vanessa, thank you so much for this book. You see that Elias character? A male gold digger. See him hovering around Johanna, doing everything Johanna wants because of bread. Because Johanna is his source of income. Johanna is his source of income. Just like Kemi. Kemi is looking for a wealthy man to marry, to latch onto. Her gallery is just a front, if you ask me. It's just a front because at the heart of it, she desperately needs to latch onto a wealthy man. That's how she survives. These wealthy men, they buy her paintings. They visit her gallery. They introduce her to, other wealthy clients, the la creme of the society. So there's not just female gold diggers. There are male gold diggers. So when you read this book, you're going to see all of that. Now, I'm going to give this book a 4.5 star rating. I originally wanted to give it a 4-star rating. But when I saw the twist that I did not see coming, oh my goodness. Pow. It instantly got a half mark. So a 4.5 star rating. You're going to love this book if you love thrillers, if you love suspense, if you love twists. Unexpected turns. Because I did not expect what I saw in this book. And the author left us on a cliffhanger. Like literally. Oh my God. When I read the author's notes, the interview of the author on the website, I was like, why is she talking about her story? I want to know what happened to Nicole. What happened to Nicole, Vanessa? You see how we hold Chimamanda? What happened to I've forgotten the character. This is how I'm going to hold you anytime I see you, Vanessa. What happened to Nicole? You cannot leave us like that, please. Vanessa, please. What happened to Nicole? Like, we need to know what happened to Nicole, please. We need to know. I mean, there's just a lot in this book that we could unpack. A lot. You get to see Lagos, the environment. Very important points were raised. How the lagoon, they kept on mentioning the lagoon. how do we? Lagos is so dirty. Jesus, I don't even want to talk about it. Lagos is dirty. Lagos has a sewage problem. Lagos has drainage problem. Lagos has flooding problem. Lagos has problems. Jesus. Although I would have preferred if this book was, kept on as the Nigerwife, because of the association and the context of the book. We're looking at a Nigerwife, a foreign woman who has come to live with her husband in Nigeria. But now that I'm evaluating the book and really looking at it, I think it was also a wise decision to call it the Lagos Wife. It was a wise decision to call it the Lagos Wife, because really, really we get to see Lagos in microcosm that you get to now look at the entire Nigeria. Yeah. So you can look at Nigeria through the lens of Lagos. Corruption, suppressing investigation. I mean, of course, the wealthy would determine how the investigation goes. Just when you read this book, you get to see all of this. So if you love thrillers, you love turns, you love twists, you should definitely read this book. You're going to really, really like it. So thank you all so much for listening to my podcast. I mean, this is the longest podcast I've ever recorded. I mean, we're over 40 minutes. Normally my podcast will stay to like 30 minutes. But there was a lot to unpack. And I want to do that without giving you spoilers. So I tried. Clap for me. I don't think I revealed any spoiler per se. But clap for me. Oh yeah, I tell you. Thank you all so much for listening to my podcast. I am excited. I can't wait for you all to, read this book and actually let's talk about it, because there's a lot to unpack in this book, especially the male digging part. And there was something that was mentioned in this book. These expatriates, we're going to wonder, why do they leave their home countries and the Nigerwives? Why do they come to Nigeria? Because they have a better life in Nigeria than they have in their home countries. If they did not have a better life, they would give their husband passports and all of them would go and live in America and chase the American dream. But no, they have a better life in Nigeria, and that's the truth. That's why they leave their family, their culture behind, everything, and come to live with their Nigerian husbands in Nigeria. They have a better life here. That's the truth. So there's a lot to unpack. This book, Vanessa, well done. Vanessa, well done. As a Nigerian, well done. You did so well in this book. I love it. Although, why did you call Otodela an ordinary billionaire? What's going on there? Like, what's going on there? Why did you call him an ordinary billionaire? Like, let's talk about it, Vanessa. There's so much I want to ask you. But anyway, guys, okay, I have to stop now. Recording podcasts is so much fun. I'm glad that I'm doing this and that you're on this journey with me. Thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my podcast, Olivia Sose Reads. Thank you all so much. Until next time, bye.